how do we begin to trust that we can feel these emotions? And how do we feel the emotions? How do we move through them so that we can get to the other side?
Yeah, I mean, I think so much of the work I do is around giving ourselves permission to let them the way I describe it, it's like a balloon filled with air that if we just acknowledged the emotion and kind of popped it with a pin and let it fly off, we'd be in much better shape than denying it, ignoring it, and pushing it down. And the analogy I use is pushing a balloon underwater. And if you've ever tried to do that, it's really hard and it takes a ton of energy. I mean, I was in with the eating disorder. I did therapy for years. I could talk about my issues till I was blue in the face, right? I'm really good at compartmentalizing and keeping everything up in my head. This is really about where are these emotions and where is this stuck in your body or where do you not feel safe in your body? And so, one of the techniques I use is the emotion code, which is helping to clear them out. I love that as a modality for people that are new to energy work because most people can wrap their head around the fact that, like, okay, yes, I've experienced emotions and yes, I can envision them trapped in my body. I do lots of other things as well, but the initial is like, let's just get it out. Like, you don't have to relive the trauma or the experience. It's just a let's pull the frequency and the vibration out of the body and then work to infuse new frequencies, which we can use, sound healing. We have frequency devices. I do other energy work to start to entrain your body to know and understand those higher vibration frequencies, love, enlightenment, those kinds of things.
So if somebody's ready and saying, yes, I have trapped emotions. I think I know where they are. I want to pull them out. How do I do that? What, what is the first step?
Yeah. So the work I do is I tap into your subconscious. So I use muscle testing, but we do it remotely, just as easily. And the cool part about it is I might know what the emotions are, but a lot of times, people are like, "Well, I think it's X, Y, and Z," and it turns out has nothing to do with that. There are other things and other emotions or we can inherit emotions, right? We think we got enough of our own baggage, but guess what? Typically mom and dad have passed some things on to us, or there's ancestral lineage that we can pull out as well. So I use muscle testing to kind of ascertain. I have a chart of 60 different emotions, and it's going through that chart and finding what your body or it's your soul, it's your innate wisdom and knowledge is saying, I know what the problem is, but the 10% of my brain that I use on a daily basis doesn't want to admit it or acknowledge it. But the 90% that is either, it's like the computer system, it's the whole back end of the computer system has this innate wisdom and knowledge that we just typically don't tap into. So for me, it's tapping into that, identifying the emotion, and then, with the emotion code, it's pulling it. We have a governing meridian that goes from the tip of our nose up our head and back down our spine. So it's pulling it out through that meridian.
You also mentioned ancestral trauma, and something personally that I found out that was really interesting is one of my relatives a long time ago was hung in Boston because she went against the Puritan beliefs. And
Yep.
she was a midwife, got a bit of a following because she was around a lot of
Wow.
people,
Yeah.
and she was hung. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, well, wait a second. I feel like I've had a noose around my neck for 7 years. And so I also wonder if there's a little bit of that
That just gave me
influence.
yeah, I twitch when something is aligned. Some people shiver or get goosebumps, and I start twitching, and that made me twitch. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's compounded, Right. And I think many of us are the healers of our families. Like we have come in to clear and heal this ancestral baggage and this lineage that we don't even realize we have. So, I mean, that makes total sense to me.
I heard somebody say once that you can heal
That
generations behind us as well as generations in front of us. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, so it's you just the phrase I've heard 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. I think the way I see it energetically, it's like a thread. It's this ancestral thread. And so the same way that you inherit physical characteristics, the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, your voice, you inherit these ancestral characteristics as well. I mean, I will say the thing I see all the time, again, particularly for women, that shows up is worthiness. And a lot of women will say, well, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm like, great, let's clear it for you. But guess what? This isn't just yours. You came in carrying this backpack of heaviness, of ancestral trauma, and when I muscle test, I can test how many generations back it goes, and I've seen it go back 10, 11, 12 generations. So as I'm clearing it, I see this kind of pulling out threads and wires of this ancestral sort of baggage, right? It's cellular memory that is passed on. And I'm gonna I hope it the other thing I heard that was fascinating is, you're in the womb, you're living in the womb of your mother for, 9, 10 months. And your mother energetically was like her eggs were in her mother, right? So there literally is this physical thread as well of us sitting and swimming in other people's emotional trauma and other people's emotions that goes way back as well. It's energy and it's a frequency. So all emotions have a frequency and a vibration, and there's a pyramid of frequencies, and the lower emotions have a lower vibration. So if we are frightened, scared, angry, sad, they all have a lower vibration and a frequency. And unfortunately, you are spot on. Our society, and for us, our generation, we're similar ages. It was the stop it, Helen, suck it up, move on, get back out on the field, stop crying, or you're too much. And so when we're told those things, it's a trauma. It's a trauma experience. And so we take that emotion, we don't know how to process it, and we shove it down in our bodies. And we subconsciously are kind of sitting on, unfortunately, hundreds of trapped emotions. But there are oftentimes several or a few that have such a frequency and a vibration that they are buzzing around in our body and creating a state of dis-ease or disease that ultimately, if we don't process it or handle it, could manifest in a physical manifestation.
Is there a place in the body where they hang out most? Like, I'm just curious, like, if it,
Yeah,
or is
yeah.
it
So
really
if
different?
So people that follow in Chinese medicine, if people have done acupuncture, acupressure, there are meridians and organs associated with different emotions. So anger, frustration, resentment typically is held in the liver. Worry, fear is your kidneys. Heartbreak, heartache, your heart. Grief is in your lungs. And then I can feel them with the work that I do as we could talk a little bit about how we clear them, but as I work to clear them, I can feel them in people's energy centers, which are the chakra systems. So there's an alignment, but I can typically feel, if I'm upset, I'll feel it in my gut or my stomach. What I have found with the work I do, most of us have a spot in our body where we do feel things more intensely than, a lot of people it's the gut. For me, it's actually my throat, right? My throat will clench up, or if I get sick, it's always my lymph nodes around my throat. So we have different energy centers and areas, oftentimes tied to, areas that we have either shut down or forced our way through.
Why do you think that is? That, we'll either hold things in our throat or our chest or what? I'm just so curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it is potentially our wounding, right? And it sounds like we had a similar childhood or background, right? Helen, you're too much. Be quiet. Stop talking. So that's your voice. That's your throat. It's why so many women have thyroid issues. And there's an imbalance in not using our voice, not speaking up, not speaking our truth. And I see that a lot in our healing center with so many women where we have just shut ourselves down to either conform, to fit in, or to people please and not ruffle any feathers.